Have you ever surrendered so deeply, emotionally, energetically, spiritually, that it felt like your soul cracked open? Many of you are silently navigating this sacred ache, wondering why your surrender seems to echo into silence. You've given your heart, your energy, your devotion, and yet the masculine remains still, distant, or unaware. But here's the truth. Your surrender is not unseen. It is felt in realms beyond words. The ache you carry is not weakness, it is sacred alchemy. And what you may not realize yet is that your letting go awakens something ancient in him. A divine cry from his soul begins the moment you stop chasing and start trusting. In today's video on Spiritual Universe, we will uncover a powerful truth hidden within the silence between you and your twin flame. This is not just spiritual theory, it is a deep soul message. We're going to explain why the feminine's surrender creates a ripple in the masculine's unconscious, a frequency that touches his higher self even when his human self resists it. This video will give you the clarity your heart has been seeking. It will help you understand why your surrender is the very thing that initiates his awakening. If you've been questioning your worth, your timing, or your path, this message is for you. By the end of this message, you won't see your surrender as a void anymore. You will recognize it as the key that opens destiny's door. You'll understand how the masculine's cry is not always a sound, but a soul vibration that reaches you through signs, dreams, memories, and emotional waves. You'll shift from confusion to confirmation, from clinging to trusting, and most importantly, you will remember who you are in the divine dance of union. This isn't just a video, it's a spiritual initiation, and you're ready. So stay close, beloved soul. Let your heart stay open. Let these words guide you into the unseen space where energy speaks louder than action and love is never lost, only remembered. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe, share this message with someone who needs it, and comment below with the affirmation, "My surrender awakens destiny." Let's begin the journey into the divine cry of love. Number 1. The power of sacred surrender. What if surrender wasn't a sign of weakness but the highest act of spiritual courage? In the divine dance of twin souls, surrender is not about giving up. It's about letting go of the illusion of control and opening to something greater than yourself. It is the deepest offering a feminine soul can make, not out of fear or exhaustion, but out of fierce trust in divine timing and unseen forces. This act of sacred surrender is not passive. It is active, intentional, and deeply magnetic. It says, "I no longer chase, I no longer beg, I return to my essence." And in doing so, the feminine anchors herself in power that doesn't need to be loud. Her silence speaks volumes. Her stillness echoes across dimensions. The moment she releases the need to control the outcome, she creates a powerful, energetic shift. The space once filled with fear and grasping now becomes fertile ground for miracles. In that space so quiet, yet so charged, the masculine begins to feel the shift, not with his logic, but with his soul. Even if his conscious mind resists, something ancient within him stirs. Something long buried begins to awaken. He might not understand it, he might be confused, but on a soul level, he receives the signal. Your surrender becomes the frequency that whispers to him in dreams, tugs at him during the day, or surfaces as sudden waves of emotion he can't explain. This is not fantasy. This is energetic law. This is how divine mechanics operate beneath the surface of our earthly confusion. Your act of surrender activates a soul contract. It reminds him of who he is and where he is meant to be. And the beauty is, it's not something you need to force. The feminine doesn't lead the masculine home through demands or ultimatums. She calls him back by embodying her truth. Every time you soften instead of harden, every time you choose trust instead of fear, every time you release instead of grasp, you amplify your signal, not just to him but to the universe itself. And the universe listens, the universe moves, the path begins to clear, what felt blocked now begins to open. But it all starts with surrender. This journey does not begin with words, it begins with a soul cry, a soundless signal that says, "I am ready to receive, I release what is not mine to carry." And in that moment, the masculine energy feels it. Even across distance, even in silence, even in separation. He may not know what he's responding to, but his heart does, his body does, his dreams do, and he will awaken, slowly perhaps, painfully, often, but surely, inevitably. So, to the one listening, don't fear surrender. Embrace it, honor it. Let it become your superpower. You are not collapsing. You are aligning. You are not lost. You are being found by yourself first, and then by the one who was always meant to recognize you in your power. Let your surrender be a prayer, a portal, a homecoming, because when you surrender, the journey truly begins. Number 2, silence as the loudest call. There's a kind of silence that speaks louder than any words. It's the silence of absence, the silence of divine surrender. The silence that lingers when the feminine finally lets go, not to punish, not to manipulate, but to honor the sacred flow of love without control. And in that stillness, something extraordinary happens. He may not say a word, he may seem calm, unaffected, even distant, but his energy speaks a different language, one the heart understands better than the ears. The silence he feels is not empty space. It is pressure. It is awareness. It is the subtle yet powerful recognition that something sacred has shifted. When you release, you don't disappear, you expand. And your expansion leaves a void, an energetic vacuum that he cannot ignore. That vacuum doesn't feel like punishment. It feels like loss, like an invisible thread being pulled from his soul. It stirs him in the middle of the night. It makes his favorite distractions fall flat. It creates a tension in his chest he can't explain. Conversations start to feel hollow. Achievements lose their shine. He moves through life surrounded by noise, yet haunted by the echo of your absence. You haven't said a word, and yet he hears you. You haven't reached out, and yet he feels you. Because what you've released is not just physical connection, it's emotional and energetic presence. And when you take that presence back to honor your own path, his soul feels the impact like thunder in a quiet room. This is the sacred paradox. Your silence becomes the loudest call he has ever known. His dreams become vivid. Flashes of you appear in moments he least expects. His mind may try to rationalize it, but his spirit is already answering the call. The longing he feels is not born of drama or desire. It is the ache of remembrance, a soul remembering something pure, something safe, something true, and realizing it's no longer within reach. And the deeper you surrender with love, not bitterness, not resentment, but genuine trust in the divine plan, the more undeniable this ache becomes. Your surrender doesn't push him away. It draws his soul toward alignment, toward awakening, toward you. He may not understand this longing right away. He may resist it, but it grows louder with each passing day, each empty distraction, each sleepless night. Because your silence, held with grace, becomes a mirror. It reflects back to him all that he's been avoiding. It invites him not with pressure, but with presence to rise into the man his soul came here to become. So don't underestimate the power of your silence. It is not passive. It is not empty. It is spiritual gravity, a call that needs no sound to be heard. Because in this sacred stillness, your soul says everything. If you've made it this far, it means this message is resonating deeply with your soul. Take a moment to reflect. Have you ever felt the silent shift in someone's energy after you let go? Has your surrender ever awakened something in another without a single word spoken? We'd love to hear your story in the comments below. Your experience might be the light someone else needs. Or, if you're not ready to share just yet, simply type, "My silence is my power," as an affirmation that you are embracing the sacred strength within your surrender. And if this message touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs this reminder. Number 3, signs of the soul's awakening, when surrender echoes beyond the veil. The universe is never silent in the face of sacred surrender. When a feminine soul releases her grip and chooses trust over control, the cosmic field responds in mysterious yet unmistakable ways. This is not just coincidence or wishful thinking, it is divine order in motion. Surrender is not the end, it is the invitation, and the moment you surrender, the soul of your counterpart begins to stir. Even if his conscious mind resists, even if his body remains still, his spirit begins to respond to the subtle call of your letting go. You might begin to notice it first in the whispers of your everyday life, dreams that feel too real to dismiss, repeating numbers that seem to follow you like a trail of breadcrumbs, songs that suddenly play at the exact moment you're thinking about him, their lyrics echoing feelings you haven't spoken aloud. Or maybe it's a shift in energy, a wave of sadness, a surge of longing, or a sudden clarity that catches you off guard. These are not just fleeting emotional states. They are sacred signals, expressions of his soul moving, awakening, reaching for you from across dimensions. Sometimes, the confirmation comes in the most intimate and invisible ways. A breeze that brushes your cheek when no one is near, a moment of stillness that feels like presence, the feeling of being held when you're completely alone. These moments are not your imagination, they are spiritual echoes. His soul, tethered to yours by the thread of divine connection, is calling out softly, painfully, truthfully. He may not understand what he's feeling. He may dismiss it as restlessness, confusion, or even insomnia. But beneath the surface, something deeper is unfolding. His confusion is not failure. His silence is not absence. These are symptoms of the soul's awakening. The ache in his heart is a prayer he doesn't know he's praying. The sleepless nights, the subtle grief, the inexplicable emotions, all of it is his energy responding to your surrender. It is not your job to fix it. You are not meant to chase or explain. Your role is to feel, to witness, and to remain in the vibration of trust. And this is the miracle of divine connection. Your awareness becomes the bridge between the seen and unseen. As you open yourself to these signs without clinging to their meaning, you allow the masculine to move toward his truth in his own sacred timing. He may not be able to articulate what is happening, but his soul is listening. It hears the echo of your surrender like a distant bell calling him home. And slowly, through signs and synchronicities, through grief and longing, he begins to awaken. So if you're seeing the signs, feeling the pull, sensing the shift, trust it. You are not alone in this dance. Your surrender has not gone unnoticed. The universe has received your offering, and the soul you love is stirring. Even if he doesn't speak, even if he doesn't show, know this: your energy has reached him, and somewhere in the quiet of his being, he is beginning to remember. Imagine this: a woman sits quietly on her balcony just before sunrise. She has finally stopped checking her phone, stopped rereading old messages, stopped trying to decode his silence. Instead, she closes her eyes and whispers a prayer not for him to come back, but for herself to be at peace. In that exact moment, hundreds of miles away, the man she once loved wakes suddenly from a dream. In the dream, he saw her standing in light, not calling his name, but radiating calm acceptance. He doesn't know why he feels heavy in his chest or why her face lingers in his thoughts all day. But you see, her surrender rippled through the unseen. Her peace stirred his soul. That's how energy works. That's how connection speaks. It isn't through desperate words or chasing, but through the quiet, invisible hand of surrender that touches the spirit and begins the awakening. Her choice to let go wasn't just healing for her, it became the first spark of remembrance for him. Number 4, the magnetic force of your release. There is a sacred power that flows through you every time you choose to surrender again, not once, not just at the beginning of the journey, but again and again with unwavering trust. Each act of surrender is not a step back. It is a divine key that unlocks yet another hidden chamber of his soul. You may not see immediate results in the physical realm, but that does not mean nothing is happening. In truth, something powerful is unfolding behind the veil. Your surrender becomes a magnetic field, an energetic pulse that travels across timelines and lifetimes. The more you release control and lean into faith, the stronger this pull becomes. It may feel like he is drifting further, retreating into silence, into logic, into distractions that seem to deny the bond. But don't let appearances fool you. What looks like distance is actually the force of your energy pulling him inward. Like gravity folding a star into itself, your surrender creates a sacred collapse in him, one that strips away illusion, resistance, and numbness, layer by layer. Even when he's surrounded by noise, his soul is restless. Even if he seems composed, collected, or indifferent on the outside, his spirit is unsettled. That ache he feels isn't confusion, it isn't punishment. It's a deep, sacred remembrance. The ache is his soul remembering a love that doesn't belong to this world, a love that stretches across galaxies and lives and realms. It is the echo of a bond that time cannot erase and logic cannot contain. And you, the feminine who dares to surrender with open hands and a faithful heart, become the guidepost through that ache. Your energy is not just noticed, it is felt in the most intimate, unconscious ways. A sudden dream that stirs him from sleep, a lyric that makes him stop in his tracks, a memory that wasn't there before but now refuses to leave. These are the invisible effects of your surrender, and they are real. This isn't about chasing, fixing, or convincing. This is about becoming the frequency that calls him home. You do not need to reach out. Your soul already has. You do not need to explain. Your surrender speaks louder than words. When it is rooted in faith and not in fear, your release becomes more than release. It becomes a lighthouse, a signal, a beam in the darkness that leads him back to what his spirit never forgot. So if you've surrendered and nothing seems to be happening, know this: everything is happening. You've activated the invisible tether, the sacred thread that pulls him not toward you, but toward the truth of who he is. You've become the reminder of the love that exists not in ego, but in eternity. Keep surrendering not out of defeat, but from strength. Keep trusting not because of what you see, but because of what you know deep in your soul. Because one day, when the moment is divine and the timing is true, he will follow the magnetic trail of your surrender all the way home. Number 5. Why staying attentive matters. There's a reason your soul brought you here, and a reason you're reading these words right now. Nothing is random on this journey, especially not the guidance that appears in your path. That's why staying attentive isn't just a suggestion, it's a spiritual necessity. The twin flame path is subtle, layered, and sacred. Answers often don't arrive with a loud announcement, but as quiet nudges, whispers from the divine dressed as words, symbols, songs, or even the paragraphs you scroll past too quickly. Every post you see here, every message that finds its way to you, is more than just content. It is a transmission, a living, breathing vibration encoded specifically for your journey. These are not mere motivational words or fleeting inspiration. These are soul signals meant to activate remembrance, stir your inner knowing, and gently steer you back to your center. Sometimes, that one sentence you almost skipped could be the exact answer to the question you've been holding in your heart for weeks. And sometimes, the quietest post carries the loudest call from the universe. Have you ever read something that made your heart stop? A phrase that felt like it was written just for you? That sensation isn't coincidence. That's your soul recognizing truth. That's your higher self responding to a divine message. It's in those moments that alignment deepens and clarity begins to crystallize. But you can only experience this magic when you are fully present, when your heart is open, your spirit is listening, and your attention is grounded in the now. Missing even one of these sacred transmissions may mean overlooking a sign you've desperately prayed for. The universe doesn't operate on your schedule, it speaks when it's time, often through channels you least expect. This is why spiritual attentiveness matters. This is why presence matters. Because staying present keeps your energy field tuned to the right frequency, the one that recognizes synchronicity when it arrives. And in the twin flame journey, every small thread of truth is part of a larger weaving, bringing your souls closer together. Think of this space not just as a page you visit, but as a spiritual altar, a place where the divine meets you again and again, through the words, images, and messages offered here. Each return strengthens your inner knowing. Each visit reattunes your heart to divine rhythm. You don't need to seek obsessively, but you do need to remain receptive. Your union is not only built on outer signs, but on inner alignment, and alignment requires attention. So, stay with us, stay alert. Let your presence be the doorway through which truth finds you. Because you are not alone in this. The messages you receive here are proof of that. And the more you return with an open heart, the more the universe will respond with signs, confirmations, and the unmistakable feeling that something greater is guiding you home. When the divine feminine surrenders, it is not the end, it is the beginning of something sacred. Her surrender is not a collapse, but a rising, a silent invocation that echoes across timelines and dimensions, awakening a hidden cry within the masculine. That cry may not speak in words. It might come as a restless night, a sudden memory, a heaviness he cannot explain. But it is real. It is his soul responding to the vibration of your release. Every time you let go, not in despair but in trust, the veil between you thins. His soul trembles not out of fear, but because your surrender has called his truth to the surface. The invisible tether between you tightens. Even if he seems distant in the physical, you will feel him draw closer in the energy. Because soul connections are never severed, they are only silenced until the time is right. So stay open, stay anchored in your heart. Keep listening to the whispers, the synchronicities, the messages sent just for you. Your surrender is the activation point. It is the sacred signal that sets his return in motion. Not because you chased him, but because you released him with love. And when you feel that tug, that pull, that ache in the center of your being, know this. It is not your imagination. It is the confirmation you've been waiting for. The journey is not over. It's transforming. And every act of surrender brings you one breath closer to reunion. If this message resonated with you, share it with someone walking this sacred path. Like this video to keep this energetic space alive. And to stay aligned with every message crafted for your reunion, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Now, let's connect in spirit. Comment below with this sacred phrase to affirm your journey. Twin Flames, infinite love. Your words are powerful. They create portals, and they allow others to feel seen in their journey. So don't just read this, respond to it. Echo it. Let the universe know you are ready, you are listening, and you are surrendering.